we have a returning special guest. I think she was on our show maybe about 3, possibly 4 years ago. And her name is Christa Proctor out of Sacramento. She's with eXp Realty. She's been doing real estate now for 9 years, and she's building a nice little team up there in Sacramento. And she's going to come on the show today to talk about what she's doing up there and how she's doing that with her team. But before we get to Christa, Ruth, what is happening in real estate?
I'm going to hide my friends here and put the stats up. So hang on, everybody. Here we go. All right. So it is 20 days of inventory. Just keep it at that level or above. We only have 51 homes available, single family, that are medium priced or under. And our median price is $450,000. And there's, when I look at the stats, it looks like it's going to jump up by the end of the month to 460, 463. We'll see. Anyway, they're flying off the shelf, but luckily we listed 144 properties. You put 95 under contract. We closed 150, which means for the month in Clark County, we've done 2,406 transactions, and that's 134 sales a day. So that's not keeping up with last year, but I think last year is going to probably be a record year from the pandemic pent up that we had. But still, we are doing awesome in Las Vegas, and those $1 million homes, 4.5 a day, are flying off the shelf. That is just an amazing number. In 2020, when there was like 1.5, and last year there was 4.5, and we might beat last year because they've really the $1 million homes are just everywhere. You see the signs and people buying them coming from California. Just amazing. Our state is getting. I think our population is due to grow to 1 million people by in the next few years. So that's going to be at the rate of 5,000 more residents a month coming here. And of course, with the climate and everything, who wouldn't want to live in Las Vegas, right? So let me just segue here a little bit. I have a $1 million home I wanted to show you that was just listed. We try to show you one every week. This one is this was listed for $7,250,000. And it sits high on top of the mountain up there at the ridges. And you can see in the background the city. This house doesn't necessarily have a view of the city, but it backs up and has beautiful views of the mountain. And it's $742 a square foot, custom built at the ridges. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's on about a 1/4 acre of land. How many square feet does it have? Let's see. 9,000. Oh my gosh, 9,700 square feet. Wow. We'll see how long it stays on the market. The $1 million homes used to stay on the market, 2, 3, 4 months. Now they're on the market 1 or 2 months. So we shall see how fast that one goes. And that was just listed the other day. The other thing that's going on in Las Vegas, really quick, we have got 6 new companies coming to Las Vegas, and Haas Automation is coming, and it's going to generate 500 jobs with an average hourly wage of $24. And when these companies I'm mentioning, they have been incentivized by our Nevada Development Company to give them some tax incentives. And this one is a tax abatement of $10.5 million. So that's quite an incentive to come to Las Vegas. And then we have Airgas Safety Inc. coming, and they're bringing 55 jobs. Average hourly wage is $23 for that supplier of industrial, medical, and specialty glasses. And welding hard goods is projected to grow to 66 jobs in 5 years. And then we have NTech Manufacturing coming. They've been awarded $1 million. They're bringing 53 jobs, about $30 an hour. And they design, manufacture, and install twin screw co-rotating extruders. I have no idea what that is, but we're just happy to see different types of industries. And I'm sure Max will have something to say about that in a minute. And then we have Stellar Snacks LLC coming, and this was awarded $1.8 million. It's creating 58 jobs at an average hourly wage of $28. and it kind of speaks for itself. It's going to fill 133 positions in 5 years. And it's a snack manufacturer. So that'll be interesting to learn more about that as time goes on. And then we have Western Ceramics coming, $43 an hour for their wage, and they're bringing 24 jobs, and they were awarded $2.3 million. Now, I'm not sure how they figure that out, because it looks like it's not necessarily the number of jobs that it brings. So we shall see. It's a subsidiary of a company out of Oakland, California. And the base company is Lilac Solutions Inc. And it's a tech firm. And it focuses on developing technology and materials to produce lithium products. Wow, that's something different. And it's going to settle in a 450,000 square foot facility. That's just amazing that none of these have anything to do with the hospitality industry. And let's see, I think the last one here of the 6 is Society Manufacturing, $25 an hour, bringing 60 jobs, and they were awarded $162,000. So they weren't awarded that much, so I'm not really sure what that formula is. But we're glad to see that more and more variety of employment is coming here to Las Vegas. And let's see, I wanted to talk about one other thing here. I think it went away. No big deal. We can live without it. So let's bring on Max again. And Max, I don't know if you have anything to say about the variety of jobs that are coming.
No, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
That's happening here in Las Vegas. And that's been always the missing piece, right? Is the diversity of industries coming to Vegas and bringing employees. And then, the university system should eventually end up supporting that as more companies, bring jobs here, and hopefully they'll push kind of the curriculum of the industries around in the university system here in Las Vegas. And once we get more diverse industries, I mean, there's really nothing that stops us. I'm surprised more. I mean, Las Vegas, especially here in the high desert here, has been, a great place for tech and what they call, when they have backups. I mean, I think the U.S. military, the Air Force, has a major data center here. I'm surprised more data centers aren't here in Las Vegas, because we don't have any natural disasters. The only thing we have to avoid is the heat, but you can get around that pretty easily here. So,
well, we have Switch. So
yeah, I mean, Switch is a big company here, and I'm surprised more aren't coming.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this to, let me put you down for a moment. I want to tell everybody why so many people are moving here. If you look at Las Vegas, you can reach 60 million consumers within a day's drive. That is incredible. You can get easy access to large California markets and Nevada and nearby ports in California. Same day round trip trucking to Las Vegas, Los Angeles, from Las Vegas to Los Angeles and Phoenix. And then people can take advantage of one-day rail routes to Salt Lake City and Los Angeles. And this little chart here just shows you how, I mean, we're close to Sacramento, we're close to Portland, all these places. So within a day's drive, that's Las Vegas is. You wouldn't think of it as being centrally located, but this makes you realize that we're in a pretty good location, and then sound and sustainable water resource as well. When we talk about all these companies that are coming to Las Vegas, believe me, they've done their homework, and Las Vegas is got 8 years of water in reserve, and that's good news. That real estate agents especially should be able to roll off their tongue, because everybody says, oh my gosh, does Las Vegas have a water problem? No, we don't. And Las Vegas uses just 5% of Nevada water. And the infrastructure, 99% all indoor water is recycled. And since 2002, Clark County's population has increased more than 600,000 residents, but its consumptive use of water has declined by 28%. So that's a key factor why people, are kind of mistaken when they think that we have a water issue. And no matter, even if Lake Mead continues to decline, this is not going to change. And that's what the Water District is telling us. So that's that. I think that's valuable information.
Yeah, that is. People are surprised. I think Las Vegas and Clark County is one of the very few places in the country that is able to recycle 99% of indoor water. So it's not, you can leave your faucet running on forever. It doesn't matter. That's not what the water district is concerned about. They're concerned about you watering, grass for 3 hours and stuff like that. So, but anyways, on to a much more interesting topic and guest here. So again, we have Christa Proctor out of Sacramento, California, with eXp Realty on the show with us here. And let's bring everybody back, because you have an interesting background story here, Christa. I think you and your husband were pastors at one point at a church up there, and you decided to make a transition here. So give us a little bit about your background, what caused you to go into real estate, and then we're going to talk about the transition from the moment you and I met 4 years ago to where you are right now. So give us a little background here, Christa.
Okay, that sounds good. Yes, we pastored a church. We were senior pastors of a church beginning in 1999. And then fast forward through the years, ministry has, like anything else, it's very entrepreneurial, actually, and it's got its ups and downs. And we were challenged, like every other church and every other industry in the world, in the the great financial crisis of 06, 07, 08, 09.
Sure.
And so at that time, though, we also had, we had 4 children. Our 2 oldest daughters were on the autism spectrum. And so I was a 24/7 caregiver for them. We did a lot of alternative methodologies. In addition to, standard therapies, we did detox and special diets and all that. So that took constant care. Before we pastored, I had a sales background in the the electronics industry. And so anyway, I'd had that, but then with full-time co-pastoring with my husband, taking care of our kids. And then when the crash happened, all the contributors to the church, I mean, they're struggling with loss of job, loss of businesses, loss of homes. And so that affects contributions. Many churches closed their doors. We made it through, but there was a season in our lives when we were going without a salary for that. And one year we lived, our income on our tax return was $11,000 with a family of 6. So thank God for food stamps. Thank God for Medi-Cal during that time. Thank God for the food bank that our church had. And we just decided that we had gotten into some sort of a rhythm with our kids. Our older 2 were about, 13 and 11 by that time. So my husband and I thought, what can we do as a couple to team up so that I can work part-time but make actual money? And I had friends in real estate, and they encouraged me to get my license. So I did that. Teamed up with the best mentor on the planet, Brent Gove. He was my personal mentor, taught me everything in real estate. And then the rest is history. The first year, I sold 15 homes, which is really good for a rookie,
Really good.
Yeah, and I did not market my sphere of influence at all, because I didn't.
Wow.
When we were pastoring, I didn't know how to cross that bridge and market my sphere of influence without it feeling like I was being predatory on our congregation. So I didn't want that conflict of interest. I used the Brent Gove open house strategy, and I just only did open houses. That's it. And so anyway, I made Masters Club every single year. I capped every year. I was at Keller Williams at the time with Brent. And then, so that's how I got into real estate. And then I just ended up, here I am. I've stayed. We passed the baton of our church senior pastorate 4 years ago. And so we're still in the ministry. It just looks a little different now. So
yeah, you got it. So can we talk numbers? Are you comfortable with talking numbers?
Sure.
And so where are you at right now from a transaction standpoint? I know 2021 was a phenomenal year for a lot of real estate agents, even through the midst of the inventory kind of crunch. And we'd love to, actually we'll want to touch on that, what's happening in Sacramento, but where are you on numbers now, and what are you projected to kind of do this year?
So last year was my biggest year GCI, I was just below 500,000 GCI. And then the year before that, interestingly enough, I had more units sold. I had 33 units sold in 2020. And we have this new designation in our area. You guys might have it in the Las Vegas market too. It's called Real Producers. So it came to Sacramento a couple of years ago in 2019. And in 2020, when COVID hit, my mom died. I put myself on sabbatical. I told my husband, I'm not going to do anything outbound this year. I'm just going to pick up the phone, and whatever comes, I will take it. And I also started a team that year. So that year, funny enough, I rested more than ever, but I sold more properties than ever. And I had to date my biggest year. And so that's the first time I earned the Sacramento top 500 agents among all 3 counties. So that's over 9,000 agents in our area. I think that's just in one of the MLSs, but I don't know. I'm not a numbers person. So I wasn't going, I've never set a goal for how many homes to sell ever. My goal has been, what is the activity I'm going to do? And then the numbers will take care of itself. So
fantastic.
Yeah. This year, though, I did start kind of making some projections last year at the end of the year based on what I did previous, because now I've realized if I don't prepare for the growth, then that will stress me out. And I don't want stress. So I decided, why don't I make sure I've got enough systems and help in place that if I continue to, grow like I have been, can I handle it? So I think I'll do maybe 75 transactions this year based on my SOI, because now I'm all about SOI marketing. I know that for every 100 properly nurtured people in your database, you're going to get around 14 deals. So
14%. That's a big number.
It is a big number. It's way higher than converting strangers.
Oh, for sure. And that's why, Ruth and I have always said, and I mean, this is industry knowledge too. I mean, 1,000 properly nurtured, previous clients, current clients, whatever, and you'll never have to talk to another stranger ever again in your career. I mean, if you go by your ratio, I mean, 1,000 would mean 140, right? Transactions.
Right. Which tells me maybe I should increase my database more.
Yes.
Marketing partner would say, but,
right.
But my focus now though, I love my clients. I love my sellers, my buyers. I just adore them. I even if I'm tired and I'm going to a listing appointment, it energizes me knowing that I get to help someone and love them through a major transaction. But even with that, my focus has really gone into helping agents and helping agents transform their business, transform their lives. And, real estate is just a vehicle to serve a greater purpose. There are a lot of vehicles you could go with. Mine just happens to be real estate. And so my focus is on helping agents. And so my organization has grown to 38 agents in different parts of the United States. And I'm right now looking at expanding into different parts of the world where I have friends and loved ones. So,
all right. So let's talk about that. Let's rewind first, right? Because it didn't start out this way. I remember when I first met you 4 years ago when we went to the 10X Growth Con. I mean, you were still solo. I mean, EXP, you were kind of starting, I think, EXP, or just made the transition to EXP at that point. And this concept of team building was one, probably you were really resistant. I remember having conversations to you. You were like, I just want to do transactions, right? I want to focus on my business.
Well, and then you even told me, Christa, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? Because I invited you to one of our gatherings.
Correct. Correct. I came, I think EXP every year has a big conference in Las Vegas. So yes. And so
it actually, sometimes EXP has a conference, and then usually it's my partner Brent. It's his personal conference, his own leadership conference.
Right, right. It might have been one of those, but
it was.
Yeah. So I mean, I looked around the room and I saw the presentation. I'm like, you should be focusing like half, if not more, of your time building a team, because the back end of this and how it works is beautiful. So at what point? I mean, this was 2018. we met, and then you came back a couple of times. We had dinner together one time, and this is the conversation I had. You were laying out kind of your plan, and you were just so resistant still about, building a team. Where was the shift? At what moment, and what made you take that shift? And then we'll talk about how you're building your team now.
It's interesting because it happened organically with me. I mean, I'm a natural promoter of things I love.
Yes.
So in the very beginning, our first year at EXP, I would naturally just in conversation promote it to people and share it. And it was not difficult. I attracted 10 agents in different areas to EXP just from my own story and just from relationship. So I didn't realize the power of that kind of team build. I didn't come from a real estate background. I didn't understand how the system of real estate works, franchises, brokerages, what really is agent centric and what's not. What an entrepreneurial agent who has the ability to build something, how if they are just stuck in a legacy model, then they are completely capped with what they can do with real estate. And so I was connecting all those dots. I just also assumed that if people, I really didn't know enough about, I knew people, but I was just realizing, I've realized more and more that the average real estate agent still has more of an employee mindset. And that's not bad. I'm not criticizing that. That's okay. But if you're really entrepreneurial, I didn't understand that some people need help seeing this gift. You really can have your own business, your own brand, limitless opportunity that you can create on this new technology platform. And so anyway, all of that just coming full circle. Then what happened was, to help me switch my brain on about this in the last couple of years, was I was still naturally attracting people. And my friend told me, Christa, you have a team, just call it a team, And so then I started doing team trainings every week. I created an actual production team in addition to my organization that I love and nurture. And now I'm just looking for agents who are looking for me, people who are wondering, is this really my purpose in life, to go to the next transaction? Like, the grind gets exhausting. No matter how much you do love people, just thinking, what's the end game here? Will I do the good thing about real estate is you can do it till you die. The bad thing is sometimes you
have to.
So
All right.
I'm looking for people who are, just open. Not all of us are open at the right times. I'm now more open than I was when you and I first met, right?
Right.
Because I've experienced new pain points that maybe I hadn't experienced yet when you and I met.
Sure. So now you're at 38 team members, right? And so when you kind of first started, you instantly, through word of mouth and through your own passion about talking about it, went to 10, right? So give us a little bit of path of, you started putting team meetings together. What were you doing there to actually start attracting, to go from 10, almost 4 years ago, to now 38?
So what I've done, I really started intentionally focusing and time blocking around outbound calls about 5 months ago. So in the last 5 months, I've probably added 5 to my group. Whereas, if I had been doing that all along, I'd have, hundreds by now, but it's okay.
So outbound, to be clear to them.
So I really I am just like I approach listings and buyers when I was new, I'm making friends and serving people. And instead of just that being people who might buy or sell, it's agents. It's real estate agents. So I'm
making outbound calls to agents.
Yeah, I'm listing homes, buyers, and agents. And I'm just loving on people, nurturing people. I don't lead with, hey, have you heard of EXP? I'm making friends, know.
Drawing circles on
it might be a fit. It might not be. Maybe it solves a problem. Maybe it doesn't. But if not now, it might in the future. So it's building an SOI with agents.
So where are you looking? How are you getting? I mean, are you just scrolling through, like,
I'm doing the basics, just like we're taught when we're brand new in real estate. Make a list of everyone you know and just make calls. I mean, this is what I tell my team all the time. This is your gold mine.
Yeah.
And most agents leave this untapped. And this is where the easiest in revenue source is, because these are people who know you and like you and trust you already. And usually the phone feels heaviest when you're going to call someone you know.
Yeah.
And so if we can get over our own ego, and we don't have to talk about real estate when we're calling people.
Mm-hmm.
We're just talking about life and putting others first and serving people. I just think we all underestimate the power of a sincere outreach, human to human.
Sure.
I remember, Max, your purpose statement was humanity's greatest fan.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yep. Yes.
That always stuck with me. And I always think about that. And so I think we make it harder than it is to reach out. Remember that? Was it AT&T reach out and touch someone?
Right.
I always just, if I look over my list of names, I look over who have I talked to 6 months ago, a month ago, 3 months ago, and I need to find out, hey, how's it going? How's life? I had you on my mind, and I've learned when someone comes to mind that I need to reach out and check on you and say, how's it going? I do that with clients. I do that with buyers. I do that with, so that's what I do. I go on a LinkedIn. If I'm looking in Australia, I'm looking for people in real estate in Australia. I'm looking for brokers. I'm looking for agents. I'm going to talk to as many people as I possibly can.
Right.
So,
well, fantastic. So
it's really not difficult. I mean,
it's simple, not easy.
It's simple, not easy. Yeah.
Right. The methodology is very simple, but the execution part is sometimes what trips everybody up. So now that you have a team, though, I mean, what are you doing? Because once you build a team, it's not like everybody just runs off and does everything on their own and whatever. So what kind of training, what kind of systems, what kind of processes in places do you meet every week? Tell us a little bit about how you're cultivating the team.
And I think that was my biggest lesson, Max, what you said. Once you have a team, it's not like everybody just runs off and does it on their own. And I probably made that assumption that, well, you know what to do. You're going to do it. You're a business owner. If you are a licensed agent, you own a business. You are your own employee. And so I just thought maybe everyone saw that. And now I'm realizing it really needs to be caught and taught, that mindset. And people need encouragement, and they need to be empowered and edified. And so I have a Tuesday training every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. I record it, and I now put it up on my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Christa Proctor.
Okay.
And I now share that with other agents that I meet. And if they're stuck on something, or maybe they've never been taught, how can you reverse engineer to know exactly how many deals you will need to make your bills every year? Like, no one teaches that, and so I teach that. I teach how to design a predictable income for yourself, because if you know that for every 100 properly nurtured people in your database, you're going to get 14 deals. Well, what does that mean to your income? What does that mean after taxes? How many deals do you need a year to know that you're going to be able to pay your taxes and pay your house payment and pay your car payment, pay gymnastics, all those things? And then how do you get those deals? And so I have this kind of in my mind, I call it, there's the hustle and then there's the flow. And the hustle is, you're cold calling, you're door knocking, you're doing open houses. And then as you work on your database and you properly nurture them, which is a whole other system, I teach that. Then after that,
we're going to have you back on to talk about that too, because that's a whole new show.
And then you just answer the phone. So,
so if you take a look at, do you have weekly trainings? Do you have phone calls with your team? I
have weekly trainings that they attend in person or on Zoom. And then I have a team manager named Cindy, and everyone so I have some people in my organization that they're just tapping into the team trainings just for their own edification. But they're not a brand new agent. They know how to use the documents. They know how to pick up the phone and talk to another realtor. But then I have baby agents who are like so powerful in other parts of their life, but then for some reason they're nervous to pick up a phone and ask if they can show a property. So those people need, you know, maybe three-way calls. Like when it's their client, like I teach them how to talk to a prospect. We literally do three-way calls with them with their prospects. And the thing with my team though, is my team is not building my business and my brand. I'm helping them build their brand.
Right. So
their leads are they're their buyers, they're their listings. I'll get a split from them as a training, you know, thing. And we have agreement for a 10 deal agreement. If they want to extend it, they can. And then my partner and I tag team, we have three-way text with them. Where at all times, if they have a question, either my partner and I, one of us can answer like that. Hop on the phone with them. And then they introduce us always as their business partners. So their first listing agreements, they're not even talking. Sure. They're just introducing us as their business partner. We have all the designations. We have all the accolades, all the icon awards, all of that. And we make them shine and look like a rock star. So nobody knows they're brand new.
Right. That's the only way to do it. Because I mean, without, you know, social kind of support in that fashion, a lot of new agents, I mean, once they tap into their, you know, friends and family, I mean, they can't get out of it. And that's where most real estate agents fail. If they don't do open houses, if they don't do all the other stuff. So, I mean, the biggest concern that, you know, when people talk about building teams, right, especially with agents who got into the real estate business so they didn't have to report to anybody or, you know, just run their own life. How much time are you babysitting, right? Like your agents, right? Because you have to do some of that to help them cultivate and grow. I mean, versus, you know.
So we try and not take more than 1 or 2 brand new agents on at a time. And our team has grown, it's doubled this year. I think we're at 12 right now in our local production team, right? And then the 38 global, those are agents who they're fine. They just wanted a better opportunity for themselves. And so they came on board with EXP and we stay in relationship. But how much time I babysit would be like, I always help them book their first open house. I do it for them. They are a fly on the wall. Every single lead is theirs. And I introduce them as my partner. So people people don't realize that they're new. Like we just make it like that. So that's a few hours when they're new on a Saturday. And then the next day I pop into their open house and I kind of am a fly on the wall, hearing them and helping them troubleshoot. I teach them how to measure their success, like on an open house, write down every single group that came in, and either you have all their information, and we don't have rosters. We don't have people sign into open houses. We have a whole script that we teach people to get their information. And before they leave, you know, their name, their phone number, their email address, that what they're looking for, their timeline, all of the things. And you either have that written or you write down why you don't have it. And why you don't have it might be they walked in with their realtor. That's to have it. Or another reason might be I chickened out. Oh, I messed up. I got stuck on the script and I forgot to ask this next leading question and whatever. So we teach them how to self-assess. And then, so that's some babysitting up front. And then we have an assistant who helps teach them how to do their documents when they're writing their first offer. We proofread everything. We help them with the verbiage. We help them with the negotiation, but how to open up car forms and fill it out and add a signature, we don't do that. We hire somebody to do that for them who knows our system. So yeah, it is a little bit hand-holding, but what I've learned is if I'm teaching them the proper income producing activity, that's the key, and that's all they focus on, they're not stuck in classes, then every time they get nervous, I'm like, that is so exciting. You have a great new problem. These are the problems you were praying for. Right. And so remind them that this is good, that if you're stressed out about this, that's what you want. So So yeah, it's a little more but by their third deal, we're just more proofreading and conversing and helping. And so our team this last week, we wrote on the board and we figured out that, and most of them are brand new. They've all done less than 5 transactions, except one gal who was kind of already experienced, but she still wanted the team experience because she wanted to go to the next level. But all but her are brand new, less than 5 transactions. And so this week we had, I think 6 go into contract. We had 10 offers written. We had 4 people showing property. We had 2 of them doing open houses. I mean, that's all income generating activity.
Yeah.
And one of the newest members in my group, she's not on my production team. I put her in our mentorship program with EXP, and then I just support her relationally. She texted me that she got her license with another gal who joined a legacy brand. And that gal, she goes, oh man, I just met with my friend. I'm trying to introduce her to our group because she's more and more discouraged. She has not done a single thing of income producing activity, except she helped a different agent on their deal that she didn't get paid for. And she's stuck in class after class after class, and it's costing her more and more money.
Right.
I just, classes don't, yeah. I think you learn as you go, right? Yeah. You learn, and I teach all my team, don't ask me anything about a contract right now because we're not even there yet.
Right. And that's what they're afraid of.
Get a prospect, and then I'll teach you. Now let's get them out and looking at property, because that's a whole different skill set. And then let's do that, and so it's, yeah.
Right. Yeah. You don't need to write a whole up a contract if you don't have a prospect.
Right. You're not going to remember it anyway. And they'll ask me questions. Well, what am I going to say when this happens? I'm like, you know what? If I tell you, you won't even remember. And I'll have to tell you 20 more times. Let's just focus on showing property. So.
Well, so talk to us a little bit about your current support structure, in your business right now. So, like from production coordinators to like who does, your contract. I mean, tell us a little bit how you structured that out so that you remain working on income producing activities and not, writing up contracts. And stuff like that.
Right. No, that's a great question. So I would say the first time I realized I need help was I had 7 deals in contract for the first time. And this was probably maybe right about the time I met you, Max. I had been in it maybe before I met you. It was my 3rd year in real estate. And I have all these templates I write that I send out. Here's your next steps. Here's what's going to happen next, because I don't like putting out fires. And I don't want my clients to ever be blindsided. Like I didn't prepare them on what's next. So I was writing all these templates and all I'm doing is replacing information related to their deal. So I decided I hired somebody and I just paid them $600 per transaction at closing for buyer or for listings, and then $400 for buyers. And I wrote a list of everything I hate doing. I hate ordering the sign. I hate scheduling the photographer. I hate setting up the lockbox. I hate entering the MLS, all those things. And I just paid somebody per transaction. That's kind of how it started. And now I have a closing manager / assistant, and I'll pay her a per transaction fee for certain transaction related activities. And that includes, now she schedules somebody. I have a gal who's local who I'll pay her $50 every time she installs a lockbox and $50 every time she picks one up. And when she installs the lockbox, she makes sure she has the keys from the client. She does the Avid for me. She makes sure the photographer, everything is set up like there's not a trash can in the middle of the driveway, all those things. So when I'm working with a buyer, I will maybe meet them for the first time. And then I say, hey, I have a team and I want to be available 100% of the time. Inventory is so low. We need to get you into the house the day it goes on the market. So it's either going to be me or it's going to be one of my team. If it's one of my team to open the door, they're going to be on time. They're going to be polite. They're going to open the door. They won't do any negotiation. If you want to make an offer, I'll do all of that. I'll take over. So that's been amazing. Nobody cares. Everybody loves the fact that I have a team. And then I pay that person per hour to open doors for me. And then I'll pay them per hour to go meet an inspector or something like that. I just recently started referring my buyers to some of my team, like If they can handle it start to finish and they're good at negotiation, then I'll refer it. If they can't handle the negotiation or all of that, then I'll keep it and I'll pay them per hour to do a few things for me.
Yeah. So from what you just told me, you basically have two kind of full-time people working.
One full-time person who I pay per transaction, and then she
coordinates everything.
Yeah, she coordinates everybody. If I need a per hour person, she'll do that. And then I'm paying her now per hour to do, like, she'll do my billing, because some of my agents use my marketing company that bills me for postage. So then I bill them. So I pay her per hour to do all those things that now I'm having her check my email. It morphs, and trust levels there. And I know how she communicates. I'm like, oh, she could just take over my whole email now. So like, I have 9 clients in contract right now, but I am more at rest and at peace than I've ever been. I'll do the negotiation, and then everything else is kind of done by my team.
Fantastic. Well, that's the way to do it, because you're never going to get past a certain number of transactions if you're just doing everything yourself. Either because you're going to get totally burned out from it, or you just have only enough so much time in the day. Okay. So fantastic. So I mean, what's moving forward here? I mean, you have 38 team members. Where's your focus on building the team? You said a little bit internationally. I mean, how are you approaching that? Like, because of the different time zones and the different
geographic areas? That's a challenge. My plan is I'll have 100 in my group by the end of the year. People who are looking for some amazing new opportunity, and then it'll continue to grow from there. But in Australia, it's fairly new, and they have a little bit of a different real estate paradigm. But I'm finding agents who are very entrepreneurial, and they're looking for something more modern, because the real estate model there has not changed for so many years. And it's, when Uber came out and all these people got an opportunity, right, to build their own life around a traditional business. And so this is kind of like the Uber of real estate, and it's really exciting. It's a paradigm shift. So it takes a while sometimes for it to really become implanted and imprinted, but once it does, then it starts catching fire. So with Australia, it's LinkedIn, and I'm setting up Calendly appointments and just conversations, just to get to know people. Mm-hmm.
And you get to do it in the afternoon because it's morning time.
And I'm the day after them; they're ahead of me.
Right.
So,
And how's your marketing been? I mean, have you shifted from how you market, and what's your social media presence been over the last few years?
So I hire a marketing team that I love. I tell everybody the 2 best business decisions I've ever made was to move to EXP. And the second one was to hire a company called Fusion Growth Partners. And I love them. And I will introduce, if you want to know more about them, please call me directly, because I will set you up with the best people there to talk to. And so they took over all of my sphere of influence marketing, and they only market to my sphere of influence. It's not online lead generation at all, but I do have an online presence through them. So they use technology to do retargeting ads. When I first went into it, I was really embarrassed for my name and face to be in the face of my friends and family that much. Like, I'm going to bombard them. Remember how many emails we would get from Grant Cardone all the time?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it's like a little, not quite, it's not like that, not 10 a day, but it's, every month emails and postcards and printed letters, all of that. They help write it all. It's very personal. It sounds exactly like my voice. And then I would have friends saying, oh my gosh, Christa, you're killing it. Like, I'm at the gym working out and your commercial's on my treadmill. So my kids' friends will say, your mom is like on my game. Your mom's commercial's on my game. So that's what they do. They build you up and like you're a celebrity. And it's really wonderful. So that it's a long game, but after 6 to 12 months of that consistency, your phone will ring.
Yeah, you're top of mind at that point.
Yeah, you're top of mind. And then all you ever have to do is just personally reach out and love on people and never talk about real estate ever. Because, hey, how are you? Oh my gosh, I saw your dog had to be put down. I am so sorry. And I'm sincerely doing that. I'm not doing that for any reason other than I love them. And so that's my marketing strategy. That is what has given me that solid, predictable base. And I know that even if the market turns, I'm going to still stand out among the crowd. People will still always have to buy and sell. They'll buy and sell on the way up. They buy and sell on the way down. But I've got I think I've got a really good chance of still helping more people than average because of that.
So they take over all the online marketing and
all of it,
retargeting and
all of it. But here's what I just started doing, Max, like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Which I don't know what I was at a conference. It was an EXP mastermind. And we had this like deep experience there with this speaker, and something clicked inside of my brain. So now I'm really using Reels a lot. Reels and YouTube Shorts. And actually not just the mastermind, but I hired a coach in September who challenged me to do 2 to 3 YouTube videos a week. So
okay. Yeah, I actually just noticed that. I'm like, oh, Christa Proctor's back on the bandwagon here of
I know. And when are we going
videos
to
and
Max
posts,
back on
right?
too? You really were, so yeah. So I'm learning. I'm just figuring it out. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just doing whatever.
You're not afraid to do it.
Right.
That's the key, isn't it, Ruth? And I told Ruth this week when I called her, she was one of those people I was like, Ruth is just on my mind. I'm going to call her. And we had such a fun conversation. And Ruth was always somebody that has inspired me. I still remember watching you two, like on Saturday morning lives, thinking, she is just out there. Like she's doing this and thinking, when will I ever? So
it took convincing. I can tell you when I first met Ruth too, I was like, Ruth, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing like videos, right? Or hosting a show? And
the funny thing is, Christa, it's like, what are we going to talk about for every Saturday morning? And now I'm doing it 6 days a week, and there's so much information. And if you can just communicate it to the right group of people and help them, that makes me feel wonderful.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you guys have both been a huge inspiration to me.
No, thank you.
So consistent. I think that's the key. You guys have really been consistent. And what I'm learning is like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, they reward consistency way more than the quality of the content.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. As long as you're not, making people feel bad. That's the only caveat. If it's consistent and it promotes growth and a good feeling and goodwill. You're gonna get rewarded for it. So, well, it's so great to have you on again, Christa. We'd love to have you back on. Whenever you have some free time down the road here to talk about how you more of the growth fusion, how you're cultivating your sphere of influence here, and just to make sure you stay top of mind, because that's going to be more key. Business is great right now, and so people tend to let that go aside, right? I mean, the unprofessional agents or the ones that haven't built systems and processes. I mean, this is that they kind of, for whatever reason, let that go aside because they don't get the immediate transactional reward from doing those activities, not knowing that it is the seed that will get them the reward much later down the road, and especially in times like you said that will help you do the flow part of their business. So, but appreciate you coming on, taking some time off your Saturday. Any last words for the audience here before we check out what's going on in training this week with Ruth?
Any last word is, I just think and Ruth kind of affirmed this, and so did you, Max, earlier, is if you are struggling in real estate, you need a mentor. You need to partner with someone who has a proven track record over multiple business cycles. And that's what I did. I looked for who's the best of the best, who had been in it for decades. And I just think that's very valuable. I had friends who got their license when I did the same year, and they were saying, why are you partnering with someone? Like you could be, why are you sharing a split? And I said, well, 50% of something is more than 100% of nothing.
Of
And
nothing.
I don't have time to figure this out on my own. And, I closed 15 deals my first year. They closed 2. So
Yeah. So
9 years later, I think they're probably still averaging 6 or less and working other businesses. So there's a lot to be said with the power of proximity.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Because the people understand that, time is valuable too. And that's the only thing you don't get back. And so that's the most valuable thing that you should cultivate. Make sure you build and find a mentor that can eliminate the learning process for you so that you can, accelerate. Well, 15 versus 2. I mean, I'll take that all day, every day, plus on Sundays. So, Christa, thank you so much. Do we have, her contact information is on there. So if you have any questions for Christa, I can tell you from personal experience, she's one of the most, loving, open, and friendly and good-hearted people that you'll ever meet. And so reach out to her and she'll help you in any way possible that she can. So appreciate you coming back on, Christa.
thank you guys. I really love what you guys do.
I have a comment to make, Christa, that, we talk about you calling people in Australia, what have you, and if there's any agents here that are looking for a leader, Christa can help you no matter what part of the world you're in, because that's, I think EXP isn't everywhere yet, but, it's in Australia, Canada, is it in Mexico?
Mexico, Brazil, Portugal, Greece, South Africa.
Yeah.
If we're not there yet, we probably will be soon. And maybe you want to be on the front edge of that. So,
right. Yes. And I'm sure that you're great at helping people learn how to build their own teams.
Oh, that's my passion now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, EXP is quite a different company, and I don't see anybody competing in that arena right now or in the very near future, because they are really taking it by storm. They are growing leaps and bounds for a reason. And it's people like you, people that really care about building relationships and helping them build their own business. So thank you so much for all your insightful comments. It's just amazing what you've done, and congratulations. And like Max said, we'll see you back here.
I would love that. I would love it. And then I would love to interview each of you on my YouTube channel too.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. Thank you again, Christa. All right, Ruth, what's happening in trading this week?
Well, we're having a slow week. It's supposed to be Kane's vacation, but I don't think he's going to take it. I think he said he's going to take the time to close his door, and we're trying to get a new training platform going on. So I think he's going to work on that. However, we do have to do a class on Friday on ethics. It's called Show Me the Money, 3 continuing educational credits. It's Friday from 2 to 5. Always have food and beverages. So come to our training center or our Zoom, and it's $20, and you just go to be.vegas and fill out the form, and we'll see you on Friday. And that's it for this week. And so again, thank you all, and everybody have a wonderful week and a blessed Sunday, and we love you.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time. All right.